Hey, Rod. Uh, After
Hello.
Marquette, what deficiencies do you think you need to address most, and when might Dylan Dessou be available to help with that?
You know what? Having had a chance to watch the game numerous times and obviously getting a chance to watch it with our guys as well. I think the thing that really stuck out in that game, and, I've got to do a better job myself in really instilling in our guys how hard we have to play, um, especially I think, to close out halves. I mean, we were right where we needed to be, with 2 minutes to go to close out the first half, and they get a couple 50-50 balls. We had to have a little bit better execution on offense too, down the stretch in terms of trying to have some paint touches, which we were trying to, get the ball inside out there and stuff. But I think that was the glaring thing. I thought Kendall Weaver played really extremely hard and played with a lot of competitive energy alongside Brock. But that's what we're striving to try to have a room full of those kind of guys that do that for us every day in practice and in games, and I'll do a better job of really trying to get our guys to understand that's what it's going to take in the Big 12.
Does Weaver just need to harness that energy and quickness, you know, as far as just getting a little more under control with the ball, that kind of thing?
No, no, I mean, he's probably one of, really be honest with you, Mark. If you look over the course, there was a stretch where he had 56 minutes, he had one turnover. So he doesn't turn the ball over. He is a guy that plays the way we have to play to win a Big 12 championship. I mean, he's fearless, he's competitive, and he's tough as nails. And I love the way he plays, the way he competes.
Thanks.
Thomas Jones, please.
Coach, good afternoon. How do you get Tyrese going, especially offensively? Was he pushing a little bit, you think, being at home in Milwaukee? Or how do you get him going, and what could he mean for the offense if he does get going?
You know what? Thomas, I'm not really worried about his offense, to be honest with you. I think when Tyree started playing his best basketball last year and he was scoring was because he was getting lost playing really hard on the defensive end of the floor. I always tell guys, if you get lost playing really, really hard on defense, when it's time for you to make a meaningful shot, you make that meaningful shot. When it's time for you to go in there strong with the ball and make a 2-foot play, you're able to go in there and do that, there's never any pressure. We never go in any game saying, hey, you got to make every shot, or you got to make the right play and play perfect on offense. We don't do that. I encourage my guys and try to instill in them, you have to play extremely hard on defense, and then offense comes easy to us. We want to run, we want to play fast, we want to make good decisions, and we want to keep the game simple.
Jonathan Thomas, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, how much, piggybacking off what you just said, how much was Wednesday's game a teaching moment? What have you kind of heard from the players themselves on how they're responding to the direction that you guys are giving them and the pointers you're giving them?
Well, John, I think again, the big game for those guys was a big game for us. It was, an incredible opportunity for us up there. But Houston Christian is the next big game because it's the game, in front of us right now. I think, again, in every game, there are lessons to be learned. Even in wins, there are lessons to be learned. And, we took a lot of lessons from the win against Texas State, and I think, again, the biggest takeaway for us in this game is, again, understand working the game. I mean, we got off to a great start. I thought that they made a run at us, scores 20-20 with about 8 minutes to go. And we really watched from the 8-minute mark on of the first half and the first 4 minutes of the second half, because that's really where the game was kind of got away from us. And, what went into, getting the game away from us, as opposed to it being a one possession game at the half. And then you got to come out and it's a game the rest of the way for 40 minutes. So, we watched, what entailed in that part there in terms of giving them separation to be able to do that. And a lot of it got back to, again, 50-50 balls, them playing harder than us. Then we have to come down and execute. We've got to get paint touches and not settle for jump shots. But again, I'll do a better job of coaching our guys to understand that. But I think it's really important too that they get a chance to visually see it and what does work in the game really look like.
Eric Henry, please.
Good afternoon, RT. Just want to ask you, in specificity to the Marquette game, but maybe also overall through 8 games, how crucial is it for this team defensively to, have active hands and be able to force things on the defensive end to possibly open up some of those opportunities offensively, whether it's fast break, transition, or otherwise? Just how crucial is it for the team to be able to do that to kind of spark the offense and make, some things come easy?
Well, again, it's what you have to be able to do in the Big 12. I mean, every night we're going to be in games like we were with Marquette, and you're going to have to be able to hang your hat on getting stops. And basketball is a game of runs, and you stop runs with consecutive stops defensively. And you also stop runs with executing your offense and getting the shots on your terms that you want to get. And when we were able to do that, we were right where we needed to be in that game. And then when we weren't, then they were able to get the separation. But you have to, again, we try to teach our guys to have active hands and high hands all the time. We're taking vision, taking a shot away, and we're trying to get deflections as well. And we want to score some offense off our defense as well, but we have to be able to sit down and have some grit. And I think early in your journey, every team, every year has to go through a growing process of understanding what that really looks like and what that really entails.
Michael Shapiro, please.
Hey, Coach. Wanted to ask you about Max. Came to your program as a pretty decorated player, of course, but what about him as a person or individual has impressed you?
Oh, well, Max is a total package, man. He's a guy obviously with a lot of expectations in terms of his playing ability, but he's an incredible kid off the court. I mean, just a great ambassador, a guy that could be every bit of the face of your program. He's a good looking guy. I wish I looked as half as good as he did. Oh, he does. He's a good looking guy that carries himself the right way, and he's just a class guy on and off the court.
Terry Middleton, please.
Coach Terry, thank you for spending some time with us. So your next game in front of you, Houston Christian, what are you concerned about? What are you working on? And do they present anything that has you concerned? And how are you preparing for them?
Well, Terry, I'll be honest with you. We had to get back to just the basics today of trying to, again, want to try to establish and work really hard at being a team that plays really hard on defense. You don't have to play perfect, but you got to play really hard. And then we got to lock into some details. We got to get really good, at one of our coverage or two of our coverages in pick and roll. We've got to continue to do a great job of, we call it the white line or white line defense, but we're just getting back to the basics on just playing hard defensively and playing as hard as you can play. Try to stay engaged, stay in stances, and just continue to buy into how important it is for us to try to build a really good defense. We know we could have a good change-up defense as well in terms of being able to play some zone as well, but you've got to play really, really hard. And we stressed that today in our practice and in our film session. We're playing a team in Houston Christian that's played, 3 Big 12 schools already. They're not going to be intimidated by coming in and playing us here in the Moody and everything. We're going to have to come in and, out-compete these guys and play harder than them tomorrow.
Reminder to use the raise hand function if you have a question. Joe Cook, you're next, please.
Rodney, I know, this is school number 4 for Ithiel. He's probably had a pretty established career, but how do you try to still coax growth out of a player who has been in 4 different schools and maybe in his last year and has kind of settled into an idea of what he is as a player?
I think there's always, Joe, room for growth, man, especially for guys that see themselves wanting to play at another level at some point, past being here at Texas, and, as a player, you're always evolving in terms of what gives you the best opportunity to be successful, to be able to do that and make it a career, and, you have to be someone that takes a lot of pride in guarding playing on both ends of the floor. You have to be a two-way player. You can't just be a one-way player. If you're a one-way player, you better be Kobe, LeBron, or somebody that can just absolutely score that ball. Devin Booker or somebody, Kevin Durant. It just doesn't really exist. Even in Euro basketball, you're gonna have to be someone that takes a lot of pride in being a two-way player. And I think, it's a process. Anytime you have guys coming into your program, they've got to continue to buy into what we're trying to instill in them. And that's to try to be, a really hard playing team on defense. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect, but the effort has to be there. The want to has to be there, and the grit has to be there. And I told our guys earlier, I'm going to do my part, in terms of really trying to instill in that. And I just ask that they give that back to me in terms of really buying into and want to do that, and the same thing on offense. So, I think he'll buy into it. I think because he understands what gives him the best chance, I think, moving forward to continue to play basketball and make it a career.
Have three more in the queue. Terry Middleton, go ahead, please.
Coach, I want to ask you about Brock Cunningham, if I could. I'm not sure he's ever shared this with us. If he has, I didn't hear about what his aspirations are after this season. Does he have a path to the NBA, in your opinion?
I mean, I would never, say that he didn't have a path to the NBA, because I think a lot of things in college has to translate to the next level. What translates to the next level to give him the best opportunity to be able to do that? I would just say professional opportunity. I don't know what level a lot of times guys are going to be able to have a chance to have some of those things translate to whatever level it may be. But I know he has aspirations of being a professional player and giving it a go at that level. And I think, he does bring some value, and some of the things he does, translates to another level in terms of every team would love to have a guy like Brock Cunningham on their team that's going to make winning plays and be a guy that's a glue guy and can give you some form of leadership in the locker room and away from the court as well.
Mark Rosner, please.
Rodney, a lot of talk about defense. Could Weaver be that guy maybe he's got a little more height and quickness? Could he be the guy that ends up guarding some of the best perimeter scorers on your opponents?
Well, he's the hardest playing guy on our team right now beside he and Brock. He and Brock Cunningham are probably our most fierce competitors right now. I think Dylan Mitchell is playing really hard defensively for us, and I think he's really trying to play the role that we're asking him to play with the motor, play with energy, be a guy that communicates at a high level. Tyrese is a guy that's shown us he can do it in the past, and it's something that has to be a calling card for him as well in terms of being a guy that plays with that kind of motor. But Kendall, without question, is fearless, and he's one of those guys that can guard a lot of other teams' best players at any time.
Last one to Eric Henry, please.
RT, just another follow-up on Kendall. When we spoke with him in the preseason, he talked about feeling as if he needed to grow as a point guard. I just want to ask you, when he's out there, what are your expectations? What are you looking from him in terms of being a ball distributor versus someone who naturally kind of has that instinctive ability to score the basketball?
Well, he's one of those guys, again, that he's not out there looking and hunting for his offense, and he still had 10 points the other night in the game. He's a guy that can put pressure on the basket with 2-foot plays. He's athletic. He plays with the competitive edge about himself that I think, again, lends him an opportunity to score on offense. He's a really good cutter. He's a guy that can make an open three as well. But he's one of those young players, man, and that's going to continue to grow in our program. And I love everything about him. I love the way he competes. We made a Kendall Weaver edit for our guys to watch. Because how hard he plays and the way he competes and the way he goes about his business. But he doesn't just do that in games. He does it in practice every day. So it's who he is, and you can win a lot of games in the Big 12 with guys playing the way he plays and has the kind of competitive spirit that he has.